We are here to say hi. We're the 19 departments in the country of Uruguay. We're in South America, touching the Atlantic Ocean.
Uruguay. Hi fellas, my name is Edward Chu. In this video, we are going to explore Uruguay as a wine country. This presentation will cover the natural conditions for growing grapes there, the wine history, wine production and wine law, then is the grape varieties and the wine styles produced there. Further, I will try to conclude some thoughts about Uruguay wine industry and hopefully some might inspire our Canadian wine industry. Without further ado, let's jump into the natural conditions. As in the song, Uruguay is a South American country bordering the Atlantic Ocean. There are 19 departments within the country. Wine production is concentrated in the south of the country between 34 to 35 south latitude, where the vineyards can benefit from the cool influence coming from the Atlantic Ocean. The climate is mild and favorable for agriculture in general with no freezing point. Abundant rainfall pushes quality wine growing regions to have a good drainage soil, like sandy loam, limestone, or granite, although there are over 90 soil types discovered so far. Land is overall fertile, and the terrain is either rolling plain or low hills, but provides many microclimates, which contributes to wine diversity to some extent. Humidity is high, but local netting techniques can help reduce humidity around the fruiting zone below the canopy and also protect the fruit from animals. Most vineyards and wineries are located at the departments of Canelones, Montevideo, and San Jose, which contributes over 90% of the national production. The natural conditions in Uruguay may not seem really exciting, but the wine history is quite interesting. Commercial viticulture started in 1870s in Montevideo when vinifera varieties Tannat and Fauci Noir were brought by Basque and Italian immigrants. Here I want to use 3 quotes to conclude the 3 historical stages in Uruguay wine development. From 1870s to 1930s, during the Origin era, the founder of the first grape grower cooperative has said, "The absolute lack of winemakers in this country with the latest advance of enology is the cause why the wine producers do not mind about making profitable the excellent grapes we have, resulting in wine even not palatable for ordinary consumers." Notably, Uruguay established the first microbiology laboratory in South America in 1880s. This is less than 20 years after the first study concerning wine biology were published by Louis Pasteur in 1866. From 1930s to 1970s in the developing era, Juan, the regarded father of Uruguay winemaking and a Catalan enologist, who wrote the first winemaking practical book in Uruguay and founded the first wine and growers magazine, he said, "It's necessary to make more democratic the enological science for Uruguayan wine growers so as to improve the quality." So during this time, with experts' help, both quantity and quality increased in Uruguay. From 1980 to now, which is the third era, here I quote Professor Denis Boubo of Montpellier, said to the Uruguay group growers, "If you don't change your plants and the management system of your vines, the viticulture will die in a few years." During this time, many of the world's top viticulturists and enologists were helping to reform Uruguay wine industry, including experts from UC Davis in California and also from France and Australia. As a result, Uruguay started to focus on vinifera growth and quality winemaking in 1990s, which continues today. Wine production and wine law. Today, Uruguay is the 4th largest wine producer in South America, although it's actually the 2nd smallest country in South America. Uruguay is the first country where all agricultural products are traceable, which means when you purchase the bottle, you have the chance to know where exactly the fruit is grown and where the wine is made. I also listed here some other remarkable achievements and statistics, such as 97% of the grapes are vinified into wine, and 80 of them is red wine. Most wine is exported to the even warmer Brazil. Out of almost 1,300 vineyards, 75% is under 5 hectares and 45% is privately owned. After 2007, making quality wine from non-vinifera grape is illegal. Despite Uruguay vineyards area is decreasing, it's no doubt it's shifting to a more premium quality winemaking vineyards. The wine law in Uruguay has been enforced by a government body called the National Wine Institute, INAVI, since 1988. It controls authenticity and grape production. In addition, it educates viticulture and winemaking specialists, as well as efficiently supports promotional tastings and fairs. It's like VQA plus CAVI plus part of LCBO in Ontario. It regulates a two-tier classification system, VCP and VC. For VCP wines, not only is it required to be made from 100% vinifera, interestingly, the wine has to be bottled in glass, no other vessels, and no larger than 750 milliliter by law. Finally, let's look at varieties and wine styles. Tinat is the national grape in Uruguay, responsible for 28% of the grape production. It was brought to Uruguay in the late 1800s by Ariagui, and Tinat is also known as Ariagui in Uruguay today. Tinat grows well in the warm Uruguay climate, although France still has more Tinat grown in the vineyard than Uruguay. In France, it's better known as Madiran AOC, known for its expressive red fruit flavors and big tannins, which requires many years of aging. However, in contrast to the tough, astringent French style, Tinat in Uruguay produces more palatable, more elegant wine with softer tannins, lower acidity, and more black fruit than red fruit. There could be some clone differences. However, Uruguay's wide use of optical sorting tables and microoxygenation definitely helped. Microoxygenation was developed in 1991 in Madiran specifically for managing the tannin in Tinat. It releases some fine oxygen bubbles into the wine to accelerate the aging process that naturally happens in barrel aging. In Uruguay, this is a common technology. Muscat Hamburg is the second most grown variety, mostly used for producing rosé in the domestic market. Recently, some stylish and intriguing white wine has become popular among wine experts and sommeliers. This is a bottle of Albarino made by Bagueda's Garçon winery, which has won the New World Winery of the Year by Wine Enthusiast. It's so fresh and savory, a nice balance and nice texture. It almost has a hint of saltiness in it, a great alternative for real spices. Now I'm craving for seafood. Next, let's open this Reserva Tinat, and with which I want to share some of my thoughts on the wine industry in Uruguay. To be honest, I'm quite impressed by the Uruguay's very focused use of resources, a clear goal of premiumization and evolving foresight. One example is that INAVI, as a government body, leads several projects to expand export capacity. Hear this one out: adjustment, dissemination, and application of integrated production regulations for wine grapes aligned with the demands of international wine markets. In 2020, it's reported that their export revenue increased by 10% despite the COVID impact. However, Uruguayan wine is still not as popular, never mentioned influential as New Zealand's wine, whose vineyard size 20 years ago was similar as Uruguay. I think it just needs a kick, like a trigger event such as Paris tasting for California wines in 1976. Or I think they should target more on the North America or Old World countries for their export instead of Brazil or Mexico as their export destinations. Alright, this is all for this Uruguayan wine presentation. A small wine country with a big wine style, looking forward to a bright premium wine future. Thank you for watching.